Good morning to all. Happy Thursday. Probably the worst MLB day of the week. I know a lot of people say Sunday, and I hear what you're saying, but at least Sunday there's 15 games. Thursday's a minimal amount. We got 10 today. Yesterday was actually, you know what? Let's run the intro.
Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
All right. Yeah, like I said, so yesterday was crazy for me. So I got rocked in the afternoon. I went 1-4. I was down 2.07 units after the day games. But then I started hitting. I hit Brewers at plus money, Angels at plus money, D-backs at plus money. And then I had the Reds as a full unit. So I came all the way back, got back into the green, but then the Mariners kicked me back just under. It was basically a break-even day for me yesterday. Yeah, it was a lot of good baseball, though. It was a fun day to watch some baseball. Hopefully today we can get back in the green. July's been kind to us. As you can see, Kamish is here over to the side. Finally able to get him on. This guy's never available. Trying to organize a show in this guy's schedule is tough, but he made it. There we go.
The best part of last night, though, was you saying was when Seattle was down and it's just like they're the terrible franchise, and then Geno Good Vibes gives us one of these, and you're like, I take it back, and then 20 minutes later, I take back that take back.
Yeah, I was pissed off at Castillo, 3 home runs. Anyway, D-backs at Braves. So I'm just taking a small shot at the big plus money price with Arizona. It's not something I absolutely love. You know what? It's basically an identical bet than what I did yesterday. If you remember, I said the same thing yesterday. If the D-backs bats are back, this price is a steal. Remember, Diamondbacks lineup was one of the hottest in baseball for like 2.5 months.
Especially on the road.
Yeah, for like the first half of the season. Then they got ice cold, as we talked about. But if they're back, they shouldn't be plus 175 dogs to anyone. I don't care that it's in Atlanta. And Spencer Strider, look, I'm curious. I think it was Kamish was one of the guys, too. I've had a lot of people whose opinion I trust say that Spencer Strider is overvalued. I know Toast has said it. Pretty sure Kamish has said that, too. He'll clarify that in a second. So, yeah, I'm not that scared of Spencer Strider, especially if like I said, if the Diamondbacks bats are back. And the Braves lineup, still top 10, still producing at a high level. But in the month of July, they're just 10th in WRC+, 4th in isolated power, 12th in on-base percentage against right-handed pitching. I know that still great numbers, but compared to what they were doing in June, it's actually a decline. So I'm down at plus one. This is just playing the price here. Plus 175, I'll take a half unit shot.
Yeah, I have the same bet as yesterday as well. Diamondbacks team total over 3.5. This time it's only minus 115. So, like you said, I think that if the Diamondbacks are back, especially the bats, this is a very, very cheap price for them, especially them being on the road. We're going to get all 9 at bats. They've already, and that's another thing is that they've also seen Strider already once this year. It was at home. They only got 2 runs against him, but I do think that gives them a little bit of an advantage here. Obviously, they're playing with house money. They're on absolute fire right now. I don't really want to get on the opposite side of Atlanta just because of those bats you talked about. It's kind of really hard not to be a little bit scared after a couple games, but I'm going to continue to roll in with the Snakes here and see what I can do.
Kamish?
I for like 2 years have been like Spencer Strider is the most overrated pitcher in baseball, and I picked him up in fantasy for free last year and enjoyed all the benefits of that. But the guy, he's got a 2-pitch mix. It's dominant. He's got an elite fastball. He's got a nasty slider, but it catches up to you. Tough matchup today. Last 2 weeks, the Diamondbacks third fewest strikeouts in baseball against right-handed pitching. That's tough. I think even when Strider is successful, like he gets a lot of strikeouts, but he tends to give up some runs. I love the Arizona team total look. I've been playing the opponent's team total pretty frequently every time Strider is on the mound. FanDuel sometimes gives you a flat 3 on the opponent right at the open. So I would co-sign that. Personally, I'm on Strider under 8.5 strikeouts today. I know it's insane, 14-19. He's gone to the over at this number, but it's a tough matchup. Brian O'Nora, some guys think he's more like pitcher neutral as an umpire. I think he's a lot more K-averse than that, at least according to my notes. So I think the under 8.5 here makes a little bit of sense. But I can't get behind Arizona because Gallen's home and away splits are god awful. I'm also on Gallen's under 5.5 strikeouts. So I think both guys could potentially struggle in this spot.
Wow, so all three of us fading the Braves and Spencer Strider in some way. I like it. So our poll, Arizona wins. 43% of our viewers are betting the Diamondbacks, 38% Braves, 10% over, 10% under. Let's move on to the next one. Giants at Reds. Let's run a poll.
I will say that I do think that Strider is overrated, but I think that this, like I've said before, this is his first year becoming a full-time starter from start of the year to the end of the year. So I do think that he'll figure things out. I mean, he's got talent there.
Yeah, it just needs a third pitch, man. Everything we've seen from the fastball and slider is like, give the guy a changeup, and he'll be the most unhittable guy in baseball.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
He should develop a ghost fork.
Sauce wants to give him like a 7-pitch mix. That'll be his off-season training.
Yeah, and 5
come
pitches.
back being pitching like Chris Bassett over here.
All right, so Giants at Reds. Poll is running. Okay, I'm on Cincinnati, but I'm holding it to the first 5. Cincinnati first 5 money line of -115. I think this is a spot to play the Reds. Hold on, pull out my notes here. So Alex Cobb actually pitched well in his 2 starts against the Reds last year, but I don't care because I don't trust, as Beaver calls him, the Cobster on the road at all. I know the Reds bats haven't shown us much recently, but I've faded Alex Cobb on the road several times this year, and I'm usually successful. His ERA jumps from a 124 to a 415 on the road, but it's not just the ERA. All the underlying numbers worse for Cobb on the road. Like I said, I mean, the Reds lineup since July 1st doesn't really have explosive numbers. In fact, they're bottom half in baseball against right-handed pitching, but they got Abbott on the mound. And other than that one Brewers start where I faded him, but other than that one start, this kid's been awesome. I know the FIP and expected FIP suggest that there is some negative regression coming, but still can't take away what this kid's done so far. He's been even better at home at Great American Ballpark. Pitching against a Giants lineup that really has terrible numbers against lefties since July 1st. 22nd in WRC+, 20th in isolated power, 22nd in on-base percentage. The last 7 lefties to pitch against the Giants have done just fine. The last 7. 38 and 2/3 innings pitched, 2.32 ERA, 124 whip. I just don't see any reason why Abbott doesn't deal here. So this is just straight up me playing Abbott against Cobb on the road. I'm keeping the bullpen out of it because I'm pretty sure, Toast will probably tell you about it, but I'm pretty sure the Reds bullpen is gassed.
Yeah, I'm on the Reds first 5. I got it at plus 100. Obviously, it's moved since I've bet that. Don't necessarily love it as much. I would probably, if it's at -115 now, I would personally play the money line or the run line. I just don't feel like it's going to be a tie game, especially in Great American Small Park. But Sauce alluded to, I'm on the first 5 as well. Just take a look at the Reds bullpen. It's just extremely taxed. Diaz, Sims, Jubot, all 3 of the last 4 days. That's just really not something you look forward to if you're trying to get on a Cincinnati money line bet. So not that the San Francisco by the way, the San Francisco bullpen, everybody's all well rested as far as like Duvall, both Rogers brothers and whatnot. So definitely an advantage for San Francisco later on in this ball game. But last night, like I said, I got Cincinnati in the first 5 at plus money. That Abbott kid has been very, very good at home. I actually think that after he got slaughtered by the Brewers and then came back and pitched pretty well against him, I think that was kind of like a buy sign for me. I'll take my chances with him here. So, like I said, don't want to deal with the bullpens, but I'll take my chances. Oh, and by the way, guess who's got really good history against Mr. Cobb?
Jake
Fraley. Over 1.5 hits, runs at RBIs at -135. Go ahead, Commish.
Yeah, the Giants bullpen, I kind of don't care what their numbers look like because it looks like they've receded a little bit. I still think the Giants bullpen are like top 3 as far as you just take those 3 guys.
Duval is a monster
and then the
right
2
now.
Rogers. I think it's Tyler Rogers is the one. That dude's stuff is like unhittable. So when that bullpen's rested, I kind of don't even care how they produced the last month. That bullpen scares me.
I'm really curious to see how Duvall does the next month or so because he's been used a lot. I mean, so we'll see.
Commish?
Look, I'm always a big proponent of like cool it a little bit with small sample sizes, expected regression, because Andrew Abbott, if you look at the xFIP, the FIP, the xERA, like all of that says that he's been a little bit luckier than he deserves as of late. And I think that is true to a degree. But you look at a matchup like today, Giants have not exactly slaughtered left-handed pitching. So I think even if regression is expected, I don't necessarily think it comes today. He's also doing a lot of things that really are supportive of sustainable success. He's getting ahead in the count really frequently. 5 straight starts with a double-digit swing strike percentage, 62.1% first pitch strike percentage in that stretch of time. He's not walking many guys. So I think Abbott, I like long-term. I think even if there's a little bit of regression, he's not going to be like a 5 ERA type of pitcher. I'm with you guys. Cobb on the road against lefties too. It looks like they got 5 lefties in the lineup today for the Reds. Cobb against lefties, a 1.61 whip. Strikeouts go down from 30% to 14%. Walk rate goes way up. All of that. So the Reds, like you said, they've struggled against right-handed pitching as of late. But I mean, I think it's a red spot. I think I'm going to go with the under in this game just because I don't really trust both offenses. And if you lean Reds, I think if the Reds win, it probably goes under 10 or under 9.5, depending where you want to buy that number at. So I think under 9.5 would be my spot here.
Isn't it crazy that if you rewind a month ago, maybe like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and think like in a month you'll be saying I don't trust either of these offenses. When you rewind like 5 weeks ago, and both of these teams are on winning streaks, scoring 7 runs a night, it seemed like. That's baseball.
Gotta love it.
But yeah, I agree. I don't really trust either offense either. But all right, let's see what the poll did for this one. Pretty split down the middle. 45% Cincinnati, 40% Giants, 7% over, 9% under. So pretty split on that one. Let's move
real
on.
Quick. I just saw too. There's a guy that I won't name him. I don't believe in that, but he's down like 24 units on the year on baseball. Just locked in Giants money line for what that's
worth. You know what though? If he is honest about being down 24 units, I respect.
He's not honest. I have access to some back.
Even better.
Even better.
He's down 24 units and lying about it.
It's a company that I used to write for that I left. So they never took
we gotta pull up his LinkedIn and find this motherfucker. All right, let's move on to the next one. Brewers at Phillies. This one's tough for me. I am making a bet, and you know what? Let me run a poll before I say it.
I didn't talk to you about this one. I'm curious where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, I hit that. I had Brewers money line last night at like plus 128. That was really nice. Nice one to hit. This one, I am gonna bet the Phillies. I'm gonna lay the juice here at the short price. Don't love it at all. But I think it's worth a bet. I put 0.75 units on it, but that was partially because a half unit bet laying minus 130 juice isn't really worth it in my eyes. But all right. So I'm not trying to take anything away from Corbin Burnes because he really does seem to be all the way back. On his last 3 starts, he's got a 1.89 ERA, a strikeout rate over 36%, 0.74 whip, 3.16 expected FIP. He's looking in the last 3 starts. He's definitely looked like the former Cy Young Award winner. That being said, it's only 3 starts, smaller sample size, and I didn't write down the opponents, but it was an easier stretch of opponents. I don't know. Look, I'm not going to say the Phillies are going to rock Corbin Burnes. That's not what I'm saying. That being said, the Phillies do have some solid-looking numbers against righties recently, and that wasn't the case a month ago. A month ago, they were winning games but weren't really putting up numbers. They're putting up numbers now. Since July 1st, the Phillies are 8th in WRC+, 7th in isolated power against right-handed pitching. I think they're going to score a couple. I'll say a couple. I see Corbin Burnes, 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs. So I think we can count on the Phillies to get a couple off Corbin Burnes. But my Phillies bet comes on the other side. And I've been guilty of saying Taijuan Walker is due for regression. You can rewind back on this channel and find me saying it. But he's starting to make me a believer. In his last 7 starts, the Phillies are 7-0. He's a perfect 7-0, got all 7 decisions. 1.84 ERA, a whip and an even 1. 3.02 FIP. I mean, he's been that good. But it's not only that. He's better at home at Citizens Bank Park. This game's in Philly. But really, it's a fate of the Brewers lineup against righties. They're showing signs of life for sure. More so against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching. Since July 1st, the Brewers are just 17th at WRC+, 26th in isolated power. The last 4 righties to pitch against the Brewers had no problems with this lineup. Ooh, I actually made this graphic before last night. Who pitched for the Phillies? Oh, it was Sanchez. It was a lefty anyway. The last 4 righties to pitch against the Brewers, 1.95 ERA and an 0.91 whip. So the last 4 righties did not have a problem with this lineup. I don't expect Walker to. Maybe I also suggest Phillies first 5, but I'm just going to play the Phillies minus 130. They got their bullpen pieces back and rested.
I disagree. I'm on Milwaukee first 5 in full game. I got them at plus. I know they're not plus money anymore. Again, I bet it last night. So I got them both at plus money. So I'll take my chances there. I honestly was worried about wondering what this short price was about, but then I just kind of went back and looked, and these short lines for Corbin Burns have been kind of money makers over the last couple weeks. He was a favorite to the Reds at minus 115. He was a minus 115 against Abbott, against Ashcraft, on the road against Savale. He was minus 110. So they keep on giving us these good lines. And then over the last month, like Kyle said, Corbin Burns has been fantastic. Expected ERA around 3.5. I'll take my stuff. He looked really good his last time out against the Reds too. It's not a bet against Taijuan Walker for me. I've kind of been a Taijuan Walker guy. I kind of respect what he does. But for me, I think we have a starting pitching advantage with the Brewers. I think there's a bullpen advantage with the Brewers. Regardless of what they worked yesterday, they're still all available. So I'll take my chances there. And honestly, I think the Brewers the bats have kind of woken up a little bit. So I'll take my chances. If Yelich and them are getting going, I think at plus money, I'll take my chances to break even at least.
By the way, I put down Phillies money line minus 130. That was where the line opened. It's pretty much a pick 'em now. So sorry about that. I didn't need a second coffee. This is basically a pick 'em now for the Phillies. And yeah, you can pretty much mirror what Toast just said about the same thing for me. This isn't a fade of Corbin Burns. It's more, I just think the Phillies will pull it out. Kamish, you betting anything in this one?
Brewers for a small stab. I am fading Taijuan Walker. I don't know why this happens to Taijuan Walker, but every single season when he comes out of the All-Star break, his velo drops a ridiculous amount. So
really?
I didn't want to say it.
Is that hold on? Is that a thing? That really happens?
Yes.
No, it really is. So first 18 starts this year, averaged 93.1 on his fastball. First start out of the break, 91 miles an hour. So we'll see. I don't know if this dude goes and eats 75 hot dogs during the All-Star break. I don't know what happens, but his velo goes down. And then you look at his first and second half splits. It's been astronomical the last few seasons. Some of it I thought was an injury thing because he was coming off some pretty serious arm stuff a few years ago, but it's sort of lingered now for a couple of years. And like you said, you're getting Corbin Burns at pretty much even money, plus money, depending where you got that line at. So for me, it's worth a small step. I don't hate the under here either because if Milwaukee wins, I mean, they're 21st in OPS against right-handed pitching the last 2 weeks. I think it probably stays under, but the Brewers are my pick here.
Yeah, it seems like
I don't see the Brewers winning and the total really going over. That's not something that.
It seems like our community's pretty split down the middle on this one. We have almost a dead even poll. Final voting is 37% Milwaukee, 36% Phillies. So pretty split. 18% under. So that's actually a lot. A lot of people bet the under in this one that are watching. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, Taijuan Walker last year, remember, was an all-star, and then it was just
Yeah, I mean, now that after he said that, I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? That does happen. It's like the opposite of the St. Louis Cardinals. All right. Let's go with Padres, Blue Jays, over, under. Poll is up and running. All right. Kamish, real quick, before I start, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolute fraud, 1 being not a fraud, where do you rank Blake Snell?
Right now, stud. Better than win the Cy Young.
That's a 1, just so you know.
I missed the scale. I was trying to pull up Snell stats, actually, and I missed the scale, and I just heard stud or not a stud.
I said, no, 10 being absolute fraud, 1 being not a fraud.
Yeah, okay, so 1. He's furthest thing from a fraud right now.
All right.
Like I keep telling you guys, Snell and Musgrove, the best 1-2 punch in baseball right now. I will not have anything else.
Give me the
especially
Jays.
with Ruben Nabella, the pitching coach out there. These guys have figured some things out.
They're trying to tell them.
They're about to figure out how to get beat 7-2 on the road in Toronto.
Oh, my God.
The Blue Jays is the pick here for me. And I'm definitely betting this one. But I'm betting it because I think this is going to be really fun to watch. This isn't me saying there's a ton of value. I just think this game's going to be awesome. Yeah, So Blake Snell, obviously, to quote Prop Beaver in his notes here, he's on a tear from hell. That's what he wrote. His last 10 games, he's got an 0.62 ERA. His strikeout rate in the last 10 games is over 40%, which is just nuts. Whip below 1, 239 expected FIP. Those kind of numbers over a 10-game stretch are just silly. He also, despite being a lefty, he also has some good splits against right-handed bats. Toronto's going to have 8 righties in the lineup, which fares well for Snell. Really the only concern that I could find for Snell would be this Blue Jays lineup has decent career numbers against them, 82 career at bats. They're collectively hitting 293 off them with an 829 OPS. So these Blue Jays hitters have gotten to Snell before. That being said, his last 4 trips to Toronto, he's 2-1 with an 0.90 ERA and an 0.60 and an 0.60 WHIP. So, so they have some good-looking numbers against Snell, but it certainly hasn't given him any problems his last trips up to Canada. This isn't really a fade of Snell. I was more just talking shit. I think the angle's in the second half, but we can talk about Chris Bassett at home. He's got excellent numbers. I feel like we always talk about his home away splits every single start because they're extreme, so I won't even go into it. But as you already know, Chris Bassett much better in Toronto. Padres have been crushing righties, which isn't good for Bassett. They're pretty much first in WRC plus, first in isolated power since July 1st. So they've been crushing righties. Chris Bassett struggled against San Diego. He's got bad numbers in the last few starts against the Padres. That being said, so look, you want to say Snell has the edge in the first 5. I'll give it to you. I will give it to you. But in the second half of this game, we're talking about, if you just go by the numbers since July 1st, the Padres bullpen, 27th in ERA, 28th in expected FIP. Blue Jays, 4th and 3rd. We're talking about production. We're talking about one of the hottest bullpens in baseball against one of the coldest. So in the second half of this game, I don't think people are really understanding how much of an advantage Toronto has here. Both bullpens are going to have all their pieces. Yeah, maybe the Padres have a lead. Maybe they're up 3-1 after 5 innings, but they lose this game in Toronto. Blue Jays at even plus 100.
Padres first 5 money line at minus 120. Padres first 5 run line at plus 110. And then I'm probably, if I had to bet the full game, I'd probably play a minus 1.5 at plus 140, but don't put that on the screen. You can shake your head all you want, but the fact of the matter is that Blake Snell has just been absolutely untouchable. If he goes up into Toronto and they touch him, that's fine. But Sauce talked about his numbers in Toronto. He hasn't given up more than 2 runs against this team in the last 5 times he's seen him. So I'll take my chances there. This Padres offense is kind of back. Hassan came on top at the top of that lineup. He's kind of like our new Jake Fraley. Don't tell anybody, but Hassan came at the top of that lineup, is causing havoc, getting on base.
He's sick. Sick.
Yeah, he's one of their best defenders as well. I'll be playing his over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs as well. It's essentially a daily play for me. I think he's hit 11 of the last 15 times we've played it. So, but yeah, I just think that this Padres team is rolling right now. I completely understand about the bullpen. I'm not there to trust them yet, but I did like what I saw yesterday. So hopefully they can carry on today, but I only want to bet them with my money in the first 5. I want nothing to do with them full game just yet, but I do think that they win the game personally.
Kamish, are you a fan of HS Kim? That's our guy. We're a big Kim program.
Yeah, no, honestly, I love the branding. You get between Toast and the Cincinnati Reds and the Kim stuff. Like it's good content all the time.
Yeah, we have fun.
My thoughts on this: like Blake Snell. If you would have asked me 2 months ago, I would have said fraud unequivocally. But the reason
I knew you were a smart guy. I knew you were a smart guy.
But I liked you too.
No, but it's never, for me, it's never been a talent thing with Blake Snell. It's always about sequencing. It's always about pitch selection. And what you've seen is he's been throwing his fastball a lot more early in the count, which has allowed his breaking stuff to play a lot better. It's a lot more nasty. When guys haven't seen it with 0 and 1 strikes, you wait to show it to him till 2 strikes. You can have a lot more success. First 11 starts this year, Snell had a 53.6 first pitch strike percentage. His last, what is this now? 8 starts, 61.3 first pitch strike percentage. So he's getting ahead a lot more. He's throwing the fastball a lot more. Command has always been, in my mind, with Blake Snell, more a sequencing thing. So he falls in love with the curveball because it's his best pitch. But if you can get ahead with the fastball, which is still pretty good, and then save that curveball for later in the sequence, he's having a lot more success. I think if he continues to sequence the way he's been sequencing, I mean, Toronto, I don't know. Toronto doesn't scare me, especially against lefties. They're mediocre in OPS against left-handed pitching. Their ISO is always bottom third in baseball. The last couple of weeks, they're bottom 5 in baseball in ISO against left-handed pitching. So for me, I'm not going to take the Padres just because of the travel stuff that happened over the weekend. They've played better than I would have expected them to going up to Canada after the rain delay and the doubleheader and all of that over the weekend. But for me, this is an easy under spot for sure. Like I'm under 9, unless the Padres bullpen implodes. That would be the only way that I could see this game going over.
No Kim in the lineup.
Yeah, to answer the comment, that they released the lineup 48 minutes ago. We've been on screen. Relax. Like, we're not sitting here staring at the phone and staring at Twitter. How are we supposed to know? Like, relax.
We can't all be as good as you, bro. I'm sorry. I'm just trying up here, trying to make a living.
Right. We're obviously staring at the camera. I have Brewers money line up, so I didn't type in. Did you pass on this one? You said
no. I'm going under 9.
Under 9. All right, cool.
Hopefully
Not to mention, there's like 15 games we have to know the lineup for.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Oh, let's see what the poll did for this one. San Diego dominated the poll, 63% on the Padres, 24% with me on Toronto, 3% over, 10% under.
What was the money like? That's a genuine question, too.
On San Diego, 77% of the public, but some sharp action on Toronto. It's closer to even. Mets.
Toronto wins, it's going to go under. That's
Mets at White Sox. White Sox at Mets.
Going to pitch well in the bullpen, yeah.
This one kept me from. Now, I was a White Sox at. I got it at like plus 175. Wasn't a big deal because I hit a lot of my dogs yesterday. But the combination, I lost the White Sox and the first 5 under in the same game. That hurt. And the Mets scored all 5 of those runs in one inning. Pissed me off.
That's the worst.
Actually, I'm going to pass it right over to Toast because I'm not betting Michael Kopech on the road in Citi Field, but I also am not comfortable laying minus 155, minus 160 juice with Quintana making his first start since the playoffs last year. So.
Yeah, this is actually just a pass for me in general. I would love to play the White Sox, but Michael Kopech has lost me, I think, more money than anybody else in the league this year. I like him. I just don't understand how he just can't figure out the control at times. So I would lean the White Sox, but like I said, I'm not playing it. Definitely for me, I just can't lay it with the Mets right now. I understand that the bats are back, kind of. But Quintana is just not there for me. The White Sox team totals at 3.5 at minus 145 on some books. It's just really hard for me to find any true value in this game for me personally.
Pass for me as well.
Yeah.
Kopech, I think, figures it out if he goes to a more intelligent organization, but
yeah.
Oh man, why you got to take a shot at the White Sox like that?
They're just so poorly run, dude. It's
so bad.
The Nationals and the Nationals are like way at the bottom, and then the White Sox are like in their own second bottom.
Where do you put the Angels? Because a lot of people say them.
The Angels are near the bottom. The Angels do some things right, I think, from like a player development standpoint. They're not total garbage. When Mike Trout's not healthy for 6 years in a row, when Albert Pujols was lauded as like an immaculate signing. The guy just didn't stay healthy after he came over. Like the Angels spend a lot of money. They do a lot of good things. They've had some bad luck combined with, I think, some like really young, inexperienced ownership and front office personnel there. So I think like I have hope for the Angels at least. They've made some good decisions. The White Sox they have all the talent in the world, all the young talent in the world, and they can't do anything with it.
I mean, look at the Angels. The Angels have lost half their whole infield, their whole team, essentially, it feels like. And they're still, 3-4 games out of it because they bring up guys
this year, the Angels have taken a step forward, have been more reliable. I was more speaking in years past. When I think of the two most disappointing franchises as far as what they're capable of, I think of White Sox and Angels. Those are the two that comes to my head.
Yeah, the White Sox is just because they've had these core of guys for multiple years now and just can't seem to get anything out of them.
This poll ended 47% of our viewers on the Mets, 30% of the White Sox, 15% over, 6% under. So people betting the Mets there. I don't blame you for that. It's just Quintana. He hasn't pitched since October. So anyway, Tigers at Royals. Let's run a poll. Tigers, Royals, over, under. Okay. All right, so Tigers, Royals, don't have a ton of notes on this one. I am going to place a bet. It's not huge. I'm just going to take the Tigers money line. All right. So if we just saw Matt Manning come into Kansas City and pitch a great game against this Royals lineup, I don't think there's any reason to doubt Michael Lorenzen being able to do the same thing. The Royals may have shockingly excellent numbers against lefties in this month of July, but that doesn't apply to their numbers against righties. They're actually all the way back at 29th in WRC plus against right-handed pitching. So maybe we can take sharp shots on the Royals against a lefty, which I did yesterday. I had Royals first 5 money line against Erod and it hit. But I'm not doing that same thing against a right-handed pitcher. Look, the Tigers lineup is almost just as bad as the Kansas City lineup. It's slightly better. It's like not quite as bad, but like it's down there. But Zach, I would take Lorenzen over Zach Greinke. I don't care if it's in Kansas City. Zach Greinke just has zero faith for me. And then when we get to the bullpen, that's the real reason that I was willing to lay the juices. I like the Tigers bullpen. I know the Royals bullpen. Oh no, I was just about to talk about Chapman. Not even there. But Tigers have the serious edge in the second half as well. I think this line should be closer to -140, -145.
Yeah, I wanted to get there with the Tigers. Just kind of hard. If I did, I'd play them in the first 5. I don't think they're going to have their closer. I don't think Lang's going to be available. I don't think, what's his face? Foley or Folly or whatever his name is. I don't think he's available. They both went 2 of the last 3. So I don't know. That's just not something I want to be in a spot I want to be in right now.
Kamish?
I'm taking a real small stab on the under here. Wind's blowing in. Both of these offenses are terrible, like you said. If you look just the last couple of weeks against right-handed pitching, Detroit is 26th in OPS. The Royals are 24th in OPS. You go look at the ISO. It's pretty much equally as bad. Detroit's 25th, KC's 20th. So, they're not getting on base a lot. The stuff that is getting them on base, it's a lot of weak hits. It's a lot of singles, things like that. So, I'd be surprised if the offense can do a lot of damage, even though it's not elite starting pitching. I think defense would be more of a concern than anything here. Just errors leading to extra outs, more opportunities. But this looks like an under to me, especially with the day game.
Yeah,
did you guys notice when you were looking at this game that Lorenzen never pitches on the road? He pitches on the road and then has 4 home games. It's so weird.
I did it, but now you got me curious. I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah, he's got 2 road starts since June 3rd.
Yeah,
wow,
it's crazy.
That is weird. It's also weirder that Michael Lorenzen was on an all-star team. But anyway, let's move on to the
even Lorenzen thought that was weird, man.
Yeah.
Twins at Mariners. Twins are past. I don't want anything. No, I don't even want to talk about it, honestly. The Mariners are as low as it gets as far as organization, just integrity. There's nothing lower than the Seattle Mariners in my book. So I refuse to even talk about the game. I'm not betting it.
Edouard Julien over 1.5 total bases at +145. Yeah, I've talked about this kid since I watched him at the World Baseball Classic, just absolutely hitting bombs all day and night in batting practice. And he's came out and he's been probably the Twins' hottest, or he's the Twins' hottest hitter right now. He's really been hitting well. Another home run last night. So I don't want anything to do with the Mariners at all. I don't really want to deal with the Twins either. Those bats are coming back. I don't know. I don't know if I trust them. I don't know if it's because I placed a bet on them to make it to the World Series earlier this year, and then they just kind of fell off. But there's something, I don't know. There's something about this Twins team that I seem to like. But as you can see in that pie chart down below, everybody's betting the Twins. So it's just really hard for me to get behind those Twins right now. And it's even harder for me to get behind Seattle. So I'll take my boy Eddie Julien, keep doing his thing, and see what we can do.
Mish?
I'm passing here. The Twins made me very happy last night. I bet them on an alt line, made them the favorite, and they came through. So I'm passing. I'm just enjoying the money that we made yesterday and moving on.
I had the Twins in game 1 of the series. Last night I took Seattle, and I was embarrassed with myself. I've passed the point of being embarrassed for the Mariners. I was embarrassed myself for even thinking about trusting them. Well, let's move on to the next one.
Eugenio Suarez has pretty good numbers too against Mr. Lopez. Just heads up, guys.
50% of the everyone community heavy on the Twins. 50% on Minnesota, 35% Seattle, 10% under. So let's.
And I will say, yesterday the Twins were heavy public too, and it didn't matter. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, it didn't matter at all. Orioles at Rays. I'll run a poll for this one, but to full disclosure, I accidentally skipped this game last night, and then I woke up this morning and I did all my notes. Didn't notice that I had left that game out. Noticed it about an hour ago, and I was like, it's too late. So I actually didn't get a chance to look at this game. So if these guys have some good points, I might be tailing them. Didn't get a chance to look through the notes on this game.
So for me, I'll be taking Baltimore on the money line at a big plus price at plus 160 now. I just think it's too big.
Sell me on it.
I just think it's too big of a price to play, or too big of a price to pay with this Rays team that is 3-7 their last 10, 7-13 their last 20, 12-18 their last 30. So at no point over the last week, 2 weeks, a month, almost 2 months now that the Rays haven't been playing fantastic baseball, not to command a minus 165 price to a Baltimore team that, they just got spanked up a little bit by the Dodgers. But guess what happened? They lost a game. And I've said this many times. I should have known. But once a team goes on a big, long winning streak, then they lose the game. That next game is usually a pretty damn big flat spot for them. It's really hard once you take the air out of that balloon to put it back in. And we saw it. They got smashed by the Dodgers. They came back on Sunday. They did some smashing on their own. Cano and Batista both worked yesterday, but they should be available today because they had the previous 3 days off. Colombo, same way. So fully rested bullpen at a big plus price. I'll take my chances. Glass now is really good. But again, it's a price thing for me. I do not think that they should be priced that high, so I'll take my chances.
If Orioles could get a lead, man, I love Cano and Batista back there. Such savages, but they just got to get the lead first and against Glass now. Commish, you betting anything in this one?
I haven't locked in anything for the late game, just full transparency. I usually I'll see how the afternoon goes and then I'll reassess exposure for the latter games. But if I was betting this right now, I would bet the Rays -1 at minus 140. I get it. I get all the points. Toast, I don't disagree at all. Is this mispriced? Probably a little bit. I 1000% agree about teams being on a win streak and then they lose one game. They almost always lose that second game in a row. I think that's a great point. For me though, the Rays are a better team. And I say this as someone who's high on the Orioles. The Rays are a better team. They're coming home. The division is a lot closer than a lot of people expected it to be at this point, especially after the Rays won 15 in a row to start the season or something like that. I think the Rays bounce back here. They have the guy on the mound that you want in this situation with Tyler Glass now. I don't hate Kyle Gibson, but I like him a lot more at Camden in this matchup against a team like the Rays than I do at Tropicana. So for me, if I do end up betting this, it's going to be -1.
Yeah, I think I would probably side with Commish on this one, only because I remember sending to the group chat, Kyle Gibson might be an auto fade at this point in his last start.
Sauce, what if I told you last 2 trips for Kyle Gibson to Tampa Bay, 13 innings, 1 run?
That is nice. That is impressive.
All the way back in 2019, not the same.
When's the last time Kyle Gibson threw a good game, though? Seriously.
2 weeks ago.
Was Obama still in office?
I don't know. I don't know who's president. I don't.
To be fair, he hasn't been horrible. I mean, he's got a couple starts in here. You have 5, 6, and 5, but a lot of these 2 and 3 earned run type of performances, they don't look sexy on a stat sheet, but they give your team to win.
Yeah, but I don't want a 3-run performance if he gave up 9 or 10 hits, though. But I don't have it in front of me. That might not even be the case. I'm just saying. I feel like Kyle Gibson has been giving me unreliable vibes recently.
He's very inconsistent.
I was just about to say, yeah.
The splits are a big thing too. If you look at his righty-lefty stuff, FIP, K percentage, opponent batting average, the whip, everything is way, way better against right-handed batters than against lefties.
I just feel like he's got to keep us in the game. If he gives me 5, 6 of 2, 3-run ball, I'm okay with that. I'll take my chances there.
I just realized it's 11:40. Did you have anything you want to give out? Because I knew you had a meeting at 11:45. You said. Commish.
Yeah, I know we have 2 games left. I think Houston and Oakland, I'm on Kyle Tucker under a half hitter strikeouts. It's been my favorite market as of late. If people read the Roto Grinder stuff, I'm 8-1 to start the week. I think I'm 8-0 on the season betting Masataka Yoshida under a half strikeouts or 8-1 or something like that. So that's been a market that I've loved. I think that's a good spot. Tucker, high contact guy against, a guy, Hogan Harris for Oakland, that does not strike out lefties at a high clip. So that would be my only other look here.
All right, cool.
Thank you for that strikeout thing. You really put me onto that, so thank you for that, bro.
Yep, I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me on. Our tryouts, like I run a baseball organization, so like this is our super busy time of the year. So after the next couple of weeks, hopefully we'll be able to do this a little bit more often.
Yeah, let me know if you can make it next Thursday. We'll be in touch.
Yep, sounds good. I appreciate you guys.
Later, man.
Take it easy, brother.
Yeah.
All right, Toast. Let's talk Cardinals Cubs, and I'm gonna let you go first because I have a feeling you're about to give a wrong pick here. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me run a poll.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just while he's typing that, guys, follow the commission on Twitter and just read his articles. If you want to be a better baseball bettor, just read it. He puts a lot of time into those articles, a lot of numbers that might go over your head, but if you just take your time just to kind of pay attention to them and stuff, it can really help you. I've been betting baseball for 10 years. I feel like I know everything, but I learned stuff. Like I just said, he got me into a prop market that I never would have brought into if I wasn't reading his stuff. So very good job of what he does.
All right, Toast, give your wrong pick out.
Cardinals money line at plus 105.
Oh my God, you've come to the sharp side. You've realized you've seen the light.
I just won with the Cubs yesterday, minus 1.5.
You've seen the light.
Get out of my house.
Same here.
Oh, okay, cool.
This was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, me too.
I
mean, not super no-brainer, but there's no way I was laying it with the Cubs right there.
Hell no.
The way the Cardinals team's been
playing. The Cardinals bats are officially red hot. St. Louis is 8-2 in their last 10 games. And by the way, this isn't crazy. They do this every year. And I'm talking about
true.
And I'm talking about. I looked before we went on the show because I was like, if I say they do this every year, I better make sure they do it every year. And they do it every year, all the way back to 2019. They're below 500 at the All-Star break, and they finish with 92 fucking wins. They do it every single year. They get red hot. Everyone thinks they suck, and then they just win a shitload of baseball games. So this will come as a shock to no one. It's happened, I think, 4 consecutive seasons where the Cardinals were bad in the first half and then got red hot. It's happening again right before our eyes. They're 8-2 in their last 10. I don't even care who's pitching because the Cardinals are hitting anybody. Framber, Valdez, it doesn't matter who pitches against the Cardinals. They're smacking them.
Well, I can also say that the Cardinals are excited to see Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman's faced the Cardinals 5 times going back to 2022, so not that long ago. He doesn't have a win. He doesn't have a W next to his name in any of those games. 6 runs, 2 runs, 0, 5, and 3. And by the way, the icing on the cake. This is the 3rd time the Cardinals will be seeing Marcus Stroman this year. There's no way, especially with how heavy the public are on the Cubs. I think this is a great spot to bet the Cardinals.
Yeah, I bet this one heavy. All right, so we're on the same page. Let's move on. Our poll is all over the Cubs.
Really? Interesting.
68% Cubs, 21% Cards, 6% over, 3% under. Yeah, so big on the Cubs. Let's move on to the next game.
I just truly believe, guys, and if I'm just saying, if Mats can get through 3, 4, 5 innings and not just get shellacked, it's we're gonna have a very good
I
shot.
think the Cardinals are going to score 5-6 runs on Stroman.
So do I, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, all right, Astros at A's. JP France against Hogan Harris. I have a bet for this one, but it didn't make the ticket. But I actually kind of like it. The problem was last year I was so nice with the first 5 totals. Not the case this year. I started off so cold with them, so I kind of have shied away from first 5 totals a little bit. But I like the first 5 over in this one. Obviously, do I even need to explain why I think Hogan Harris will give up runs to the Houston Astros? Like, do you guys need a pitch for that, or are we all on the same page there? We think that. Yeah. Hogan Harris hasn't been pitching well. Houston Astros good against lefties. There you go. I don't even need to read you the numbers. I promise that's what they say. On the other side, we got JP France pitching, and he's been absolutely excellent on the road against good teams. His last 4 road starts at Angels, at Dodgers, at Cardinals, at Cleveland. Those are 4 top 10 lineups against right-handed pitching in the last month. So he's pitched 4 consecutive road games. Well, his last 4 road games have been against top 10 lineups against righties. He's got an ERA at an even 3 in those 4 starts. So why would I think Oakland scores on him here? It's because Oakland's actually scoring runs right now since July 1st are 14th in WRC plus against right-handed pitching. And Prop Beaver said it best. He said his exact words were, when the Oakland A's are scoring runs, they will score runs. You have to bet on them to score runs because they will score runs every game for a 6-7 game stretch consistently, and then they'll stop. So I think they're going to score runs on JP France. I think it's a bit of a flat spot for him because he's pitched well against such good teams. I can see this being the one where it's like, okay, this is where he fucks up at Oakland. And that's a pattern. You can see good pitchers, they seem to fuck up when they get to Oakland. There's a bunch of names that fit that exact description. So I think Oakland's going to get the JP France. I think this goes way over.
It's super public. I'm on Houston -1.5, and I kind of like it. JP France has been pretty damn consistent for the Astros. Got kind of hit up his last time out on the road at the Angels, gave up 9 hits in 4 1/3 innings, gave up 4 runs. I think that Houston, with that loss in Colorado, probably still a little bit pissed off. I'll take my chances with the bad guys. They've been absolutely smashing left-handed pitching lately. And then, oh, by the way, I mean, not that we really pay attention to this, but Oakland is going to be missing their closer. They're going to be missing one of their setup men. Well, he's worked 2 of the last 3 nights. And then Sam Long, same type of difference. So a little bit of issues in that Oakland bullpen. So I'll take my chances with the bad guys laying -1.5.
Yeah, if I had to pick a side, I'd probably lead. There's no Trevor May. Did you say that?
I said their closer. I didn't think anybody who knew who that would be. So yeah.
Yeah, Oakland does not have their closer tonight. So, all right, let's do the pick'em. All right, so I just missed mine yesterday. I was so close of hitting my underdog pick'em yesterday. Let's see. This is yesterday's. So I had Rodon higher than 2 earned runs, cash. Silseth lower than 2 earned runs, cash. This is where I messed up. Toussaint let up 5 earned runs to the Mets, all in the 4th inning too. So he had a shutout going into the 4th. So just missed it. This one is. Oh, you know what? Let me I don't think I screenshotted it. It only takes a second though. This one is right here. Let's call it Underdog Thursday. And then let's bring it into the stream. Underdog Thursday. There we go. Okay. Spencer Strider, higher than 2 earned runs. Andrew Abbott, lower than 2.5 earned runs. Blake Snell, higher than 2 earned runs. That's mine for today. I keep coming so close to hitting. I was so hot last week. Not so hot this week, but I'm turning it around today. If you're unfamiliar with Underdog, here's the states it's available in. Any state highlighted in orange. You just go download the app, go on the website. Make sure you use the promo code BET, B-E-T, because they're going to match a $100 deposit bonus. So you deposit $100, they'll give you a free $100 to play with. Check it out if you're not already on Underdog. Now, let's finally win a community parlay.
Hey, come on, it's the community parlay. What's the matter for you?
Can we win one of these? The community needs to win. Someone said if Toast actually bet the community parlay for once, it would fucking hit. They're blaming it on you.
Not a chance in hell, bro. Sorry, Katie. It's not going to happen.
They're blaming the community parlay on you.
I can bring Reese out for some good luck.
You know what, though? To be fair, I haven't been betting it recently, so I'm going to bet it today. So maybe I could break the.
We'll see. If the Braves aren't in it, maybe I'll take a stab.
You know what, though? I already bet the parlay of the day, though, that I gave out on the website. So I don't know if I want to bet 2 parlays in one day. I'm not trying to.
Money don't make money.
I'm not a junkie. All right, so D-backs actually won that poll, not Braves. So I'm putting the D-backs on here. Giants, Reds won the poll. Phillies.
You can find my props on my Twitter for whoever is that guy who's asking.
Oh, okay, yeah. D-backs, Reds, Brewers, Padres. Let's get that first leg going.
I got you today.
Looks like, wow, we're going to get a dog in. A plus 165 dog in the community parlay. Oh, never mind. Here come the Reds. Here come the pesky Reds to take the lead. No, D-backs still have the lead. Wow. Nope. Here come the Reds. This one's close as hell. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End poll. And D-backs. The Arizona, a plus 165 dog in the community parlay is crazy.
You guys want me to get in with the parlay. This is how we started. This is how we get it party started.
Toast ears just went like this, like, I'm listening. All right. Next up, let's go. So where did I leave off? I left off on Padres. So then White Sox or Mets won the poll. Tigers definitely won the poll. Who did they vote for in Twins Mariners? I was too busy like shitting on the Mariners.
I would assume the Twins.
No, definitely it was definitely Twins. It was definitely Twins. Yep. And then Orioles, Rays. I think Rays. No, I think they actually voted for the Orioles on that. They did. They voted for the Orioles on that one. There you go. Second leg.
Get your votes in. Don't be holding back.
All right, waiting for the vote. Laker fan, bit of advice, and I don't mean this in a shit-talking way. People that win a lot don't go around trying to convince people that they win a lot. It's just not a characteristic they have. But I'm not saying you're not winning. I didn't mean that as anything disrespectful. I'm just saying, like, for future advice, it's not what they do. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 34% Baltimore. The Orioles. Dude, is that 2 dogs in there? What is going on? What has happened to the community?
The community wants me to play, and they convinced me.
This is a conspiracy to get Toast to bet the community parlay. Cubs definitely won. Astros definitely won. And then we'll go. We're probably only going to do 3 legs, so we'll go 2 seconds. We have the Tigers and the Reds. Let's see what the third leg of this parlay is going to be.
Oh, my God.
Looks like Houston. Yeah, looks like it's going to be Houston. I'll give it 5 more seconds, but looks like it's going to be Houston.
960.
Oh, wait, here come the Reds. Here come the Cincinnati Reds. I'm going to give it 5 more seconds because it's closer than I thought. 5.
Give me that 12.
If you want the Reds, you better go vote now because Houston's still winning. 4, 3, 2, 1, end poll. Astros edge out Cubs and Reds by 1%. What is that?
962.
Should we add one more? No, 962 is probably good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to plus 962. Let's not get crazy. Community parlay, just 3. Ooh, cancel. Why can't you see it? Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Community parlay, Diamondbacks money line, Orioles money line, and Astros money line for a grand total of plus 962. Community needs one. Let's get this one. Thursday, only 10 games. That doesn't mean overextend. Tomorrow's Friday. Going to be a loaded day. We'll be on at 4 p.m. So remember to bet responsibly. Talk to you guys on Twitter. Have yourselves a good day. Talk to you later.